I've been using masking tape tags like this to mark the wires that I have to connect when I put a plane together. The writing on those tags can smear and fade, and that makes it harder to be sure that you're plugging the right things into the right cables. I knew there had to be a better way of making these markings in my own shop and my own way. I was actually looking for a better way to make labels for my storage drawers. And then being the whiz kid that I am, I realized that I could probably make labels for my wires too. And that's when I came across this Brother Labelmaker. And I discovered that this is a pretty cool little machine, and I like stuff like that. I know it's dusty, but I was thrashing building an airplane at the same time I was figuring this thing out. The good news is that it turned out to be pretty easy to use. The keypad's laid out, so it's very familiar to most people who've been typing on a computer. This machine comes with an adapter for plugging it into the wall, or you can use batteries if you need to take it out to the field. A really nice thing about the way this machine works is that the writing is actually under a clear protective covering. The machine laminates it on the way out. And the covering over the adhesive on the back has a split down the middle and makes it really easy to peel this stuff off. And before you start thinking this is going to be really hard to do, it's not. All the printing and laminating stuff happens inside of the tape cartridge. I still don't know exactly how it does it, but I don't care because it works all the time. The Brother Labelmaker has a color display that makes it a little easier to go through the menu and choose what you want to do. The tape cartridges have everything in them. There is no separate printing tape. These cartridges also contain a clear polyester coating that gets applied over the printing. And that's all done automatically. Plus you don't have to worry about running out of any one of the layers because they're all within the cartridge itself. And the cartridges are very easy to change. Brother includes a USB cable with the Labelmaker for connecting it to your PC. You can also download some nice software from Brother that makes designing labels even easier. Unlike a lot of free software, this package actually does a lot of nice things for you. You can size the text manually just using a couple of buttons. And the relationship between what you see on the screen and what you actually get during printing is very, very close. A really nice feature of this software is how it automatically sizes things to stay within the boundaries of the label. And as you can see here, you can see your typos in real time. At least I noticed it and fixed it this time. On this label, I wanted the flyingrc.net to be the dominant piece of text. And after selecting it, you'll notice as I bump up the size of that text, the property of it is automatically sized down to fit within the boundaries. It's that kind of background automation that makes this program easy for just about anyone to use. Then when we're ready to print it, we just tell it how many copies we want to make. That print job is then sent to the Brother Labelmaker, and it starts cranking out the labels that come out all nice and shiny with the clear polyester laminated over the type. The first thing I did when I got the Brother Labelmaker in the shop was to make labels for all of my parts drawers so I could actually see what was inside of them. I originally labeled these with a magic marker that doesn't stick to plastic like this. I knew there was a bunch of pre-formatted labels in this machine, but I didn't know that it had this one, and it's just what we need for our airplanes. With this pre-formatted label, all we have to do is enter the name that we want to appear on the label. The program inserts that name on both sides of the label so we can fold it over the cable. Here I'm going to make some labels for the flap connections in my planes. And it really is this easy. And I tell it I want to print it, it asks how many. And while you're doing this, you might as well make up several of them because you save a little bit of tape and then you have them on hand. And then out they come just like you wanted. So far, every label I've made printed out exactly as it appeared on the screen. I made most of my labels with black print on a white background. But Brother makes these tapes in a bunch of different colors, and I thought black on yellow would be a better color for my aileron connections. I put in the yellow tape cartridge and whipped out a bunch of aileron stickers. These tapes are available in a whole bunch of different color combinations, and you just have to look to see which one pleases you the most. On planes like my giant scale Edge, where we use a separate channel for each aileron, I can make a left and a right aileron sticker, because that's important. When you use two separate channels for the ailerons, you can have different sub-trims from between the left and the right. You want to make sure you get these plugged into the right sides. Here's the tags that I made in my giant scale Valiant. I've already had to redo the letters on these tags a couple of times. Now with the Brother label printer, I don't have any excuses. It's very easy to tell that I have everything plugged in and that I have everything plugged into the right places. And that can easily save me an airplane. And yes, these cartridges are expensive, but you can look online and find some real deals, like 50% off on regular everyday prices on some of these places. And you get a ton of labels out of each cartridge, so this really isn't a concern for me. I know it's not an airframe and it's not a motor, but I think the Brother Labelmaker can be a great addition to your shop as it is for mine. The Brother Labelmaker only has to save damage to one airplane to pay for itself.